Hello, my name is Jennifer Saldana. Today my speech will be should prisoners be allowed to vote? A prison is a secure faculty that houses people who have been convicted of a felony criminal offenses. These prisoners have forfeited not all but most of their civil rights. Due to this, each prisoner had lost their right to vote in the United States. Prisoners, also known as penitentiary, are operated by a state government or the federal government. Given that fact, it would be logical for a prisoner to have the ability to make their voice heard on how they think the government should operate the prison system that they are living in. Unfortunately, in all but 2 states in the United States, prisoners have been denied of their civil rights to vote for those lawmakers and political leaders who make decisions that affect every aspect of their lives, from homeland security to their prison system. There are 14 states that restore voting rights automatically after they are released, 22 states after they complete their parole and their probation, and 12 states in which prisoners lose their voting rights for some crime or an additional action in order to lose their rights restored. Whether the prisoner be a relative, a friend, a family member, or a loved one, the issue is to consider due to the reasons that although a criminal offenses have been committed, the prisoner continued to live as a citizen in the United States and should have the ability to vote on all possible methods their home may be operated. Voting rights have been established through the United States Constitution to enable the concept of self-government. If this is true, then we should consider listening by allowing them to represent themselves in the political debate. 2 states continue to maintain voting rights from all the states, citizens, prisoners, or not, establishing voting ballots. Many become costly for each state, but the effective numbers of voters can change dramatically. I wanted to show you this right here. It says many are unable to vote, which states here 1 million are in prison, as well as the only 2 states that allow their prisoners to vote is Maine and Vermont. I also wanted to show you this map. On this map, it's going to show you who can vote, the ones who can vote right after they complete their parole, and as well as the right to vote. Voting rights, not all can apply. And then the 2 states that let their prisoners vote is Vermont and Maine. And then they must apply for voting rights right after they get out would be these 3 states right here in the red. Prisoners have rightfully striped off their wrong voting rights. By removing the civil rights has been damaging the prison system. Case studies have shown prisoners' abuses happening more often. According to Corral County District, since 2000, the Texas State Prison System Inspector General has referred nearly 400 cases of staff sex crimes against inmates to prosecutors. And any analysis by Marshall Project found the prosecutors refused to pursue almost half of those cases. Only 126 prisoners workers, mostly correctional officers, convicted of sexual misconduct or assault. Just 9 were sentenced to serve time in state jail. Most of the rest received fines. Restoring voting rights for prisoners across the United States can aid these prisoners in voicing their opinion on an abusive state prison. Per October 2016, estimated 6.1 American prisoners will be prohibited from voting. These statistics were provided by Mark, the Executive Director of Sentence Project, a criminal justice refer group. Victims of the prison system are affordable. Okay, and then it says here, American criminal justice systems hold more than 2.3 million people. As it states on the 14th Amendment, to deny voting rights to those with criminal conviction, and then states can come up with their own or restoring voting if they choose. This is according to Ellen. To grant prisoners their voting rights, it would be amendment as stated right unless the federal government submitted the right as a federal law of all prisoners. This solution will be encourage democracy states to push for the reinstatement of voting rights for prisoners, since the democracy will see an increase in votes. I wanted to show you a few increase that the Democracy Party can receive. It does state a few that can push the state to reserve prisoners' voting rights. One of them is the one that I agree with, educate prisoners on the importance of their voting rights. So while they're in prison, they can actually take classes and actually learn the right from voting, who to vote for, what do they have to offer to our country, and as well as learn a little bit more about everybody. A change can arise in rapidly fashion as the rest are restored, especially the next presidential election, like how I stated. If they take classes, then they know what exactly they're going to vote for. Prisoners will be able to push for prison reforms, as well as their voice, their opinion, and on the prison system as their politicals. In conclusion, prisoners committed the offense and are paying the consequences, but they are still citizens of the country and should not be held to abuse and neglect the confrontation. It's justice being served. They do not need to be kicked to the ground. These situations are happening to relatives and loved ones who decided to make the wrong decisions and are now getting punished. The process may be out of budget, but a reform must begin somewhere. Maine and Vermont continue to be the only two states that let prisoners have the right to vote. This is a big reason why these two states continue to remain blue states, also known as Democracy Party states. Thank you so much for listening.